Welcome to Kingdom Nation. I'm your host, Dr. Latisha Roberts, and always to my right, my far right today, is none other than my sister in Christ, my partner in Christ. Well, in trouble, well, her. Listen, this lady over here, none other than the Apostle Tanya Stewart. Hello, my sister. And this lady who's in the middle. Yes. Of us tonight is none other, or today, I'm sorry, shall I say, is none other than Dr. Tamara Otey. Yeah. Welcome to Kingdom Nation.
Thank you.
Welcome to Kingdom Nation. Listen, we're going to have an awesome show. We're going to talk about stuff that really hits home because some of us know people or heard about certain things. We see stuff on TV, but sometimes it hit closer to home than what we want to realize or even think about. And so today we're going to talk about HIV in the black community.
Yeah.
HIV in the black community. Because this is not something that's going to go away too soon.
No.
And unless you know Christ, you're going to really need Him.
Yes.
To cover you and protect you. And am I making any sense? So let's just jump right in because this woman is very knowledgeable. Yes. She has her doctorate. She's has a doctorate in science of nursing. Yes. Because she had to correct me a few minutes ago. Yeah, science of nursing. Amen. But she is a saved and sanctified woman. Member of MMEJ jurisdiction under our Bishop Elijah H. Hankerson III. Hi, Bishop. Yeah. Shouts out to Bishop. Amen. But tonight, since we're talking about HIV in the black community, how is this thing, I don't want to call it an epidemic, but is this thing spreading more than what we realize or what we know?
It really is. In the United States now, about 13 or 12% of the total population is African American, but we have 50% of the HIV cases, and like the Bible says, people perish for lack of knowledge. So it's really prevalent in the black community.
Okay, my heart just dropped when I heard those statistics. And if you're like me, I love people, and so if we're not educated, we're going to keep repeating the cycle. And unfortunately, this is not a good cycle to repeat. No. And so, whereas some other pastors or preachers might not tell you this, but for our viewing audience that's unsaved, we know you watching, we appreciate you watching. Yes. We're going to say, take care of yourself. Yes. We're going to tell you, above all things, be careful. And we're going to tell you to always love Christ, but we need you to listen to what is going to be presented on this show tonight because this thing is going to be life-changing if you are faced with it. Yes. And it's not something you can get rid of. You can't take a shot to get rid of it. This thing is forever. And it's wiping folks out. So let's go back. We were talking about HIV in the black community, and you just said how prevalent it is. And the thing that I remember from being in the nursing field, and I mentioned to you a minute ago, and that was HIV can lay dormant in your body without you even knowing you have it for up to 10 years.
Because the symptoms are flu-like symptoms.
Come on now.
And we live in St. Louis, and the weather changes every other day.
Right.
So we all got stuffy nose, etc.
Right.
And that's the only sign unless you get tested. So the Center for Disease Control and Prevention recommends that you get tested every year like when you go to your annual checkup, if you're sexually active.
Come on now.
Wow. You need to do that every year because that's the only way you're going to know.
And the sad part is, it's not just if you're sexually active and you're gay or lesbian.
Right.
Everybody.
Heterosexual.
Come on now.
And homosexuals.
Right.
You need to get tested. And if you, not only single people, if you married and you just know that your other mate is not being monogamous, having a monogamous relationship, then you need to get tested. And you'll see too that the numbers are growing for older people over 65 because a lot of them are sexually active too. And for some reason they think it's for young people, but it's a sexually transmitted disease no matter what age you are.
No matter what age you are. I've been through HIV training, being in the nursing field formerly myself, so I understand you just cannot touch somebody and get AIDS. So we don't want people running around, treating people for no apparent reason. That's not how you get it. This is a sexually transmitted, and so it's going to have to do with bodily fluids. Right. So you always have to be careful when you're dealing with bodily fluids. And so if bare minimum, have your gloves on or mask or something. But when you, especially if you're in the medical field or in that type of environment. Maybe you have to clean the bathroom or something. Always wear your gloves and a mask to protect yourself.
Wash hands.
You know what? That's one of my pet peeves. People don't like to wash their hands. Wash your hands, please. Wash your hands. And so now let's go back, because we see people like certain athletes that had it or had AIDS and all this other stuff. Everybody's not privy to the same medicine, but there is no medicine out there that we know of right now
that will cure.
That will cure.
But it's turned into a chronic disease like hypertension and diabetes. You can have it for a long time if you take the medicine. What happens is it's the human immunodeficiency virus. And when it gets into your body, it hooks to cells, part of your white blood cells called T cells. Your T cells are your fighter cells that fight infection.
Right.
And what it does when the HIV hooks to the T cell, it transforms that cell. It no longer will produce other white blood cells, T cells. It produces HIV. And then the more cells are affected, the more cells grow. So if you know science, you know there are different stages of cell growth. You have mitosis, and I can't remember all, cell dividing. So what the new HIV medicines do is they call it a cocktail, because it attacks that cell division at different points to exact the kill. Okay. So when you take your medicine, and the number of people that know they have HIV and not taking their medicine is still large. Only like 40 to 50% of the people that know they have HIV take their medicines properly, so they're still passing the virus. So they want the virus to be undetectable, because if you take your medicines after a while, the viral load will be low and not be detected when they take the test. But studies have shown if you stop taking your medicine, that HIV will start replicating again. And then just like other resistant strains, like you got resistant strain of tuberculosis, gonorrhea, syphilis, it's because people stop taking their medicine, and then the germ learns how to grow in that environment. Then that medicine does not work anymore.
Come on. Wow.
So if you have a resistant strain of HIV, you're passing on the resistant strain.
And watch this, and they don't care. And some people actually know they have this, and they're passing it anyway. And so, you know, to me, that you have no heart. And I know you're mad because there are stages of anger once you find out you have a disease. There are different stages of that. And so you have to be mindful not to pass this on. But I will tell any lady and any man, protect yourself. And now we know this is a Christian show, but for all those that are out there that are having unprotected sex, whether you're in church or out of church, we need you to protect yourself. Your life is at stake.
Your life.
You need to be mindful that, God forbid, if you are gay or lesbian and you're in that lifestyle, we need you to be mindful of what this thing is doing to your body. And watch this, cutting your life short. And so watch this, the life you could have, you're now cutting it short because of a sexual choice. And I know some of you all are going to get mad at me, but watch this, you were not born this way. It's a learned behavior. I love you all, but it is a learned behavior. And so whether you were willingly learning it or it was forced upon you, it's still a learned behavior. So we need you to be mindful of what's going on in your body. Go get tested. And for those that are Christians that are out there, we're not stupid. We know folks are having unprotected sex. We know folks are having premarital sex. Protect yourself, please. Because this could pass on to your children. And so we don't need the babies born that way. We don't want you to be that way. We definitely don't want the next generation already being born and cursed coming out this way. And watch this, they didn't ask for this. No. You know, so we have to protect ourselves. So we thank you for bringing this information. And in the black community, we definitely have to be mindful of what's going on. And folks are not having sex like it's water. Come on, and I know some folks, I love him. Listen, if you love me, they'll wait.
Yes.
If you love me, you'll make me legal.
True love.
Come on now. And the love that you're looking for, and you've heard us say this on different other shows, the love that you're looking for is really a God love anyway.
Yes.
And so you're trying to feel things, a sexual feeling because of a hurt or a pain that's in your heart. And so a lot of people get into, you know, certain sexual acts and things like that because they're trying to find love. Listen, I got to go pay some bills. We'll be right back after this.
Some people choose Moen faucets for their lifetime warranty. Others buy them for their modern design. I bought Moen for father-son bonding time. There are a lot of reasons why people choose Moen. Find yours. Moen. Buy it for looks, buy it for life.
An idea is just an idea until you pick up a pen and put it out there with tools that put your ideas to work. Tools that create like only you can. Make your screen do more to put your ideas where everyone can see. Make it yours and make it known. Make your mark.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Kingdom Nation. I'm your host, Dr. Latisha Roberts. I have Dr. Tanya Stewart, and then we have Dr. Tamara Otey.
Oh,
Amen. We're all doctors today, but the only doctor is Jesus. Hello, somebody. All earned. Hello, all earned. All earned, all girl. But so I wanted to come back and ask this question because this is a very heavy subject.
It is.
If you know, folks don't think they're getting away with certain things, and they're not. But your body just hasn't told you yet, you know.
Right.
And you're keeping this close. I love the way you brought out the fact you didn't have the sniffles, and in St. Louis, because the weather does fluctuate, maybe you need to go get tested. So I want to ask you this: when somebody go gets a regular blood test, do they automatically test for HIV?
No, because you could test for HIV orally.
Oh, just do a mouth swab?
Wow.
Okay.
You could get the results in about 20 minutes.
Do they sell like the little thing in Walmart or Walgreens or something?
Well, they got the home kits too. There are home kits,
Really?
but I'm not liking the home kits because if you take your home kit home and you found out you have HIV, then you're at home and don't have to tell nobody.
Ooh, yeah.
Wow. That's just more secrets to me.
That's just, yeah, that's
I'd
good.
rather for you to go get tested, have somebody to tell you the steps you need to take to keep the disease under control and live a good quality life.
Wow. And me having done private duty for a agency here that catered specifically to HIV patients, when I was in nursing some years ago, I had to do an intern in one of the hospitals, and that guy came in to get tested. And he got tested, and he found out he actually had AIDS. And he sat in the room for the longest. Nobody messed with him, and he was livid. You have to be careful because your life literally is cut short. And because they go through different stages where the body begins to break down because, like you said, it can no longer fight off this strain. And sometimes, like even with the flu strain, it comes back stronger the next year. And so when this strain is in your body, the ones, like she said, was fighting is getting weakened because this strain has gotten stronger. So this is not something because, and I don't want to say it that way. So tell us, is there certain places they can go to get tested, or they go to any hospital?
Any hospital, your doctor's office, the urgent cares, all of them have HIV testing kits, and it's important to go get tested. And then the first time I got tested, and I practice what I preach, I've been tested several times. So the first time I went to get tested was back in the old days where you had to wait a whole week to find out if you had HIV. So, but I went back in. I went to a doctor's office who didn't know me. Because if it was going to be positive, I wanted to be around people who didn't know me. But I had a word from God before I went that said, Psalms 91, it said, 1,000 will fall at thy side, 10,000 at thy right hand, but it will not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes will thou see the reward of the wicked. So I had the word of the God that it was going to be all right. But I believe that if God heals you and protects you, the test will prove it.
Right.
And that's what the testing did. So I've been tested, and I had to wait a long time. You can find out the same day now, and it's important to know.
It's important to know, and if you're in a relationship, it's important to inform your spouse.
Right.
Unlike you, don't keep that information to yourself. This is something you need to, I didn't say share your information on Facebook or Twitter.
Right.
But you do need to be honest with your spouse or spouses in some cases, you know, because we have to get a control and a handle on it in the black community, in all communities. So I definitely don't want to come off sounding like that. Well, in all communities. So what can we do to, we know that there's that one commercial with the Truvada, the PrEP thing. But, you know, so what else can we do?
Okay, well, since we talked about Truvada, it's a pill, it's a antiretroviral. Those are pills to treat HIV. And if you take it, it will keep HIV from forming in your body if you have a relationship with somebody that has HIV. But it still has a lot of side effects, kidney failure, liver failure, etc. And that's what they're showing on TV. But I have the ABCs of HIV prevention.
Come on, what up?
A is abstinence.
Stop right there. Stop right there.
And God will keep you.
And come on now. Come on now. Come on now.
B, be faithful to your spouse.
Yes.
Okay. C, cancel all sexual activities outside of marriage. And D, if you are testing positive, start your drug treatment.
Okay. You know what? That was so good. Please repeat that for me. Let's go back to A.
Yeah.
I stopped at abstinence because this generation don't really understand. They don't. And watch this. They had more commercials about abstinence back in the day. Now you hardly see any commercials about abstinence. It's go out there and do everything. But just know when you do all of this stuff, there are consequences to what you're doing out there, and then there are consequences to your own self. So now you got to make some wise decisions and choices for yourself. Is it worth it?
Right.
That one night stand could cost you your life. Come on now. And for those that's dipping or slip tipping on their wives or husband, come on now. You are in the bounds of marriage.
Yes.
Maybe you need to sit down and talk to your spouse and get some communication and understanding. Tipping out, the grass always look greener on the other side.
But it's not.
But it's not. So give us those ABCs and these again.
A is abstinence. Now, we're Christians and we believe that you only have sex in marriage.
Come on now.
And just because I'm saved, men didn't get ugly because I got
saved.
But prayer and fasting. Fasting helps you control your flesh. If I can't deny my flesh a cup of coffee, I'm not going to deny it anything else it wants. So if God will put you in, will help discipline yourself if you allow him to.
But see now, watch this. We both were the same because I had to stay abstinent for a long time until I got married. But watch this, and prayer and fasting does work for those that say it does not. So I want to stop right here because we got young teenagers walking and watching, and those that are unsaved. You can be kept. Don't let folks pressure you into going to bed with them. Don't be a McDonald hoochie. Don't do it. Come on, a McDonald hoochie because I bought you something. I buy my own dinner if that's what it means. We have to give our women the control and the power back over their own bodies, and our men too. They bring pressure too. Listen, you don't have to do it. If they really love you, they will wait. And if they walk away, they weren't yours in the first place.
That's
what you got to say about that?
Go to the gym.
Go to the gym.
Work out. That's what we did before I got married.
Wait a minute, come on, watch this. Now look at what you're telling me. Look at what you're telling me. Let's walk through this. Come on, ladies, that's going, really? Watch this. Now watch this. You want me to go to the gym and see sweaty men over there working out and flexing their muscles, and I ain't supposed to have it?
Well, you
better go to the library where they ain't flexing. Come on, I'm sorry.
But that helps to get rid of some of that estrogen, that energy that you know is kind of hyped at the time when you are abstinent. So therefore, if you're working off and burning off that energy, then you'll feel better in your body and in your mind.
But you know what also helped me? I stay busy at church.
That too.
Come on, I was in the choir. I helped, watch this, I even helped clean up the church. Come on now.
Yes.
Because watch this, you know, you just, Lord, my strength is right here where I need to be. You know, so around the saints that was talking to you and praying with you, they didn't know what you was dealing with. Maybe some of them did that had discernment. But the more you stay busy, the less you have opportunities to get in trouble. And keep your mind active. And watch this. There's certain things, since we're talking about abstinence, there's certain things that you don't even need to be watching on TV.
No, come on, listening to.
Listening for certain songs, you know, don't play no Luther song right now. Hello. I know this is back in the day, but don't play it. I'm married now, so I can look at my husband cross-eyed. But back then I couldn't. Don't play Luther. Don't do it. But watch this. We set ourselves up, and we don't think about it.
No.
So abstinence, I had to go back to that. I had to go back there. What was B?
B is be faithful.
Be faithful.
And it takes God to help you do that too, because the other men didn't get ugly either, because you're married. You have to learn how to discipline yourself. And one thing I do with young people when I'm talking to them on this subject, we practice saying no. I said no. Don't say, no, Johnny.
Because you know, you know which no he means no. Come on now. Come on now.
Get the head, you know, get
it. I mean, get it.
I said no.
Finger and let it go. Right. And what's C?
And C is cancel all activities, sexual activities outside of marriage, and it also can use condoms. You know, but
and she said all sexual activities out of marriage, and that means with yourself. Okay, go ahead.
And then D,
yes I did.
If I did diagnose, come on and let's get to treatment
and get you some counseling
medicine and our counseling, because you can live with the disease.
But that's not something we want to do.
That's not something we want to live.
Listen, when we come back after this, we're going to even talk about HIV in the black churches. We'll be right back after this.
You've got lots of stuff and no time to move it. You need pros. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck.
My daughter tried Tylenol, but hours later the headache came back. So her doctor said nothing stronger than Aleve.
I had to take 4 Advil or 8 extra strength Tylenol.
But to Aleve, she can go all day.
Aleve.
Welcome back to Kingdom Nation. I'm your host, Dr. Latisha Roberts. Our guest today is none other than the doctor herself, Tamara Otey, and my co-host, Apostle Tanya Stewart. Listen, this has been a show to make you think and at least, you know, contemplate what you're about to do, because your choices definitely have some repercussions on them. So before I went to break, I said that we would come back and talk about HIV even in the church. Dr. Tamara Otey's this dissertation for her doctorates actually sort of touched on that. Talk to us.
I was living in Memphis, Tennessee, and there was nothing scientific written about how pastors felt about HIV. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is in Memphis. They treat all childhood catastrophic illnesses. That's cancer, HIV, sickle cell, different things like that. They have a data map of Shelby County, that's where Memphis is, and it showed the zip codes that had the highest level of adolescent HIV. That was from ages 10 to 24. So our definition for my dissertation of high risk was if there were 10 or more adolescents in a zip code area with HIV, because studies show that people usually have sex around their neighborhood. Wow. So I interviewed 31 pastors in that area. What I asked them was, what is your perception about the church's role with HIV? Would you be willing to offer it some education at your church? And if they knew about the statistics of their neighborhood, what are the barriers they saw to having educational things about HIV at the church, and what are their future plans, or if they had any now? Out of the 31 pastors I interviewed, I only had one real champion who was in a high-risk neighborhood, was kind of close to the St. Jude Hospital, and he offered testing in his church. He had education classes at the church, but most of the pastors were scared that somebody in their church was going to have HIV, and they, you know, we like to hug, touch, and feel, but you don't get
AIDS like that
from hugging, touching, and feeling. There was another champion, and when he found out, somebody told him, don't hug that lady. He was a new pastor, because she has HIV. The next Sunday, in front of everybody, he had her come forward and hugged her in front of everybody, which was a learning lesson. So we have to, we're Christians, and we have to show the love of Jesus to everybody. God hates sin, but he loves us. He loves us so much that he died not only for our salvation, but for our healing.
Come on, that's good. That's good.
So this was one quote from one of the pastors says, HIV is like the elephant in the room. Everybody knows it's there, but nobody wants to talk about it. And if you look at the map of the United States, it shows which states have the highest new infections of HIV. They're all in the Bible Belt in the South. Louisiana, Georgia, and Florida have the most. Then you got New York, comes down the East Coast all the way south and goes to California.
Because I thought I saw Texas.
Texas, and go all the way to over here to California. And so people in the Bible Belt are having sex and having HIV. It's basically because you don't think that it will happen to you. Just like there was one missionary I grew up with, and she never thought she would get pregnant outside of marriage. Well, I know I could get pregnant outside of marriage. Right. So I didn't try to do anything that happened. To see, the love bug, when it catches you and you're young and naive, when it catches you, you already have to have a plan made out. The answer is no. And if you don't go into that knowing that, you know, you've got your mind made up, it's just like Daniel. When they took him to Babylon, he purposed in his heart not to defile himself. And so women and men of God, we got the purpose in our heart not to defile ourselves, because it's in the church, and we can't be afraid to talk about it. I asked the pastors that they talk to their children about it. I made sure I talked to my son, and the kids will tell you how much information they need. I didn't lay out the whole plan. He came home and said, where do babies come from? They come from the doctor. You know, it was, you know, we graduated into this thing. And then one more thing I want to say is, women, when you know you're pregnant, go to the doctor and get your prenatal checkups, because they will test you for HIV. And if you are HIV positive, if you take the medicine while you're pregnant, the baby will be born negative. If you just show up at the last minute, hadn't had any prenatal care, then the baby will suffer the consequences that you're suffering.
You know what? We only have a minute or so, but if you want this woman to come to your church and share this knowledge and teach your adolescent, because that number shocked me, from 10 to 25, and watch this, and the adults too, because you mentioned the seniors are getting it. I need you all to please contact her. We're going to have a contact information below her name and everything, and that way you can contact her, and she'll come run a seminar and teach the whole church. Because we, like you said, we still have to show the love of Christ, no matter how they come in. It's a hospital. And we're supposed to receive them, and this is where they get their healing. But if they're too afraid to come in, and we're too afraid to even talk to them or go get them and talk to them, then there's something has to happen. And so we thank you for coming and sharing this information. Is there any way somebody can find your dissertation?
It's in the Journal of the Association of Nurses in AIDS Care.
Amen.
But if you Google my name, especially
we'll put the link out there. Give me the link and
Google Scholar.
Yeah, and we'll put it out there. We want you to get this information. There's too much happening that the church is not equipped in some places to handle what is going on, and we should be equipped, at least give you information on what to do and how to protect yourself. Listen, this is Kingdom Nation. We love you, and we thank you all for being with us. Dr. Otey, we thank you. We're going to have her back so we can get more information out of her, not just about this, but about other stuff that's going on in the communities, because we need to go get our communities and our people back. We love you. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. God bless you.